Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bows & Company. I am your host, Emily O, and I am joined by, guess who?
Mom.
Could have seen that one coming. How are you, Ann?
I'm fantastic. And you?
I am well. You know, there's just been so much going on, and I'm so excited to be sitting here and chatting with my friends. And we have a lot to go over. No, definitely late, but still getting one up this week because we had to catch up. So yes. Here we are. I hope everyone at home is doing well, listening, and you're having a great mid-May. Can't believe that it's already mid-May.
Here we are.
Where has the time gone?
I feel like we say this every single week.
We talk about the calendar and the weather.
Love to talk about the calendar.
It's a good check-in.
I love to look at calendars.
You do.
I do.
You are a calendar girly.
Ooh, I love them.
It's too good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sense of comfort knowing that things are planned out and scheduled.
Yes.
How was your week? Well, I know how your week was. So how was your... Let's start. I mean, they don't know how your week was, but let's get into some bows and lows.
Why don't you start? What was your... I'm going to start with your low or your bow.
No. I think our bows are the same for this week. And it would have to be our trunk show in Charlotte, which we'll get into, a little recap if you didn't see it on the other social media. But something that was not posted on social media that I have been holding on to for my podcast listeners was my low for this week. Absolutely bananas. This was this Tuesday or was this Monday? So, so this was Tuesday, and you had scheduled a lot of work people to come to the home to kind of get everything done on one day. So the sprinklers were being turned on, the driveway was being sealed. Who else? There was
window
washers. We had our normal cleaning crew come to just clean the inside of the house. There was people from the new house coming to measure things like our outdoor,
statues, little figurines.
So the house was surrounded, and you had a physical therapy appointment, and you were like, Emily, stay home. Just keep an eye on things. And honestly, I was like, there's really, in the back of my head, there was no reason for me to be home. But I was like, I will listen to Ann because she told me to stay at the home base. So about 30 minutes prior, I had ran and grabbed a coffee, and I was sitting at the kitchen table working. And a window washer had just come inside because he had to do the skylight in your primary bedroom. So I let him up, and he was in there. And I heard just a massive gush of water. So my first instinct was that he was upstairs and he maybe like dumped his water down on the ground. But the gushing didn't stop, like it just kept going. And I was like, what is that? And so then I go to the half bath, and the toilet is shooting out water, exploding water. It is coming from the bottom. It is coming from the top. And I am
alive. It's
alive. This is not good. So I run outside to the sprinkler guys because I'm assuming that this has been caused by them. I mean, they're the only crew there that have anything to do with water. So I run up to the guy and I was like, our downstairs toilet is spewing out water. And almost like it was pre-rehearsed, he was like, we're not responsible for anything that happens inside. I'm like, excuse me?
Which is also, I'm going to interject, kind of, I understand that. Clearly they've had a lot of issues, but I've used them for years.
Yeah.
Years. Like this wasn't some brand new crew. I mean,
I go, pardon me? So, luckily my uncle was home and I had seen him outside. So I run around the house and I'm running past the window washers and they're like, what's wrong? And I was like, the toilet's exploding. So I run over and I yelled, Dan. And he was like, what? And, I said that our toilet, there's water running out. So he comes over and I don't think he necessarily realized how much water there was. And then he got there and he was like, oh no. So he turned something off. I don't know what he did.
He turned the toilet off.
Thank you. He turned the toilet off. And then I was like, okay, the water was shut off, but there was still, it probably was gushing for like 3 to 4 minutes. It wasn't that long because luckily he was home and he turned it off. The toilet's above the basement. So the water started leaking through the ceiling into the basement. So Dan and I run downstairs. And if our mother had not cleaned out the basement the week prior, which we were talking about on the podcast, and reworked and had a new system for the merchandise, all of the merchandise would have gotten soaked. But because you had cleaned it out the week prior and she had moved things over and there's like a whole new system and it's perfect. It's just pristine. it was hitting like folding chairs and like a folding table. So Dan and I are downstairs and we're moving all this stuff, and then he was like, go and get all the old towels. Well, obviously we don't really have any old towels. I'm grabbing your West Elm towels from your bathroom,
My pretty front gate ones.
front gate ones, and we are on our hands and knees and we dried it all up, and it was fine, but I was sweating. I was covered in, I mean, it wasn't dirty water, but like nobody wants to touch water coming out of pipes.
No.
So basically what happened is when the guys turned on the sprinkler system, there was so much pressure that the toilet pipe, I guess, kind of just burst.
Well, I had to turn on the water.
Yeah.
And I think they use the term hammered. It's a plumbing term, I think.
Oh.
And it causes pressure or something like that. That has never happened before. But oftentimes I have left the house. Like the sprinkler guys over the years will show up and I'll just leave.
Yeah.
And thank goodness you were home.
Water is such a silent killer.
It can be an enemy.
An enemy for sure. The damage that it could cause. Thank God I was home.
Thank God you were home, because that is what caused all of our disaster at our lake house.
Yeah.
Was water. So you know
could have
what?
destroyed the hardwood floors. Thank God the merchandise had been moved.
I was glad that you were the first alert team and you handled it very well.
Thank you. It was funny. And then I called Claire and she was like, hey, what's going on? I go, well, there's been an explosion. She was like, wait, what?
She thought you were crying. You were actually
laughing.
laughing.
No, I was laughing because it was pretty funny. And then the window washers came down and they were like, is everything okay? Like, we need to use the water. And
give it a minute.
Dan and I were like, does everything look okay? I'm like, no, everything is not okay. And then he was like, oh my gosh, when did he was like, all the merchandise on the other side? I said, yeah, thank God we moved it to the other side. And he was like, oh yeah, when do you need it by? I go, today was launch day. And
yes.
Like, what?
Yes.
It was chaos. But anyway, that was like an hour of my life. And then you came home and yeah.
I think that was also one of my bows, is that I didn't know any of this until I get out of my physical therapy appointment, which is just for my shoulder in case anyone cares, but it's feeling a lot better.
Yeah.
And I came out and there was just a text, something to the effect, there's nothing wrong, but give me a call when you're done. And you had taken care of it all. So that could be a bow for me, because by the time I got home, we were just washing towels. Everything was taken care of. And I called a plumber and he came the next day.
Yeah. So it all worked out. But thank goodness for,
Uncle Dan.
Because I would not have been able to.
And for you being home.
But I also, I was there, but if the sprinkler guys weren't going to help. And so if Dan hadn't been home, I didn't know how to turn the toilet off.
No. You probably would have just had to run downstairs. I should show you how to turn the water off.
I probably would have done that. But again, I didn't know how to do that at the moment. So
right. So that was a whirlwind of activity.
Never a dull moment at our house. What would you say your low is?
I have a really strange low, and I think I'm going to tell it.
No, actually tell this story.
It's bizarre. I think it's bizarre, don't you?
It's super bizarre, and I think everyone listening is going to want to hear this.
Okay, I hope I can explain it well enough. The other day, we're building a home, and the exterior is brick with some touches of hardy board, which are going to be painted white, but it's predominantly brick, and that is going to be lime washed, and which is a form of painting. So the brick is going to be painted white.
Yes.
And when we know going into this, we picked out a brick. I picked out a brick that I knew was going to be painted. Mm-hmm. And the masons, who did an excellent job, as they're installing the brick in the home, they didn't have to worry so much about patterns or the way it was going to be, because it's going to be painted. Well, last week, Dad gives me a call and he says, did you see the initial S on the side of the house in the brick? I said, okay, I heard the words that you were saying, but I need you to repeat what you just said, because I don't even understand what you're saying. He said, well, I'm going to have to show you. I would say probably 3 feet tall. The masons made a poor choice, and they decided it would be amusing or funny. They did it with 2 initials, not our initials, but initials of some of the builders. And they did a huge S pattern with some of the bricks. And then they did another initial, and a little bit farther down from the house.
There's an S and an L.
Okay. It's not like we can track down who the initials are. There's
it's an S and an L.
And an L. And it's in the brick pattern. Once you see it, and Terry, dad, he is not extremely, he's detail oriented, but I mean, I could change the color of things and he doesn't necessarily notice it. So the fact that he recognized that on the corner of the house is a big S and then an L it's very good. It's very observant. Well, I go and take a look at this and to me, it's like graffiti. It's a low for me this week. The Masons have wanted to do this apparently to other homes, but they weren't going to be painted. So they couldn't do it. And they thought it was fun, amusing. I'm not really sure.
We're not sure, guys.
But I was super bothered by it because a couple of things. What if I decide I don't want to paint it?
There's so many things to get into
What if the paint actually, over time you have to repaint or lime wash the house?
Right.
So things like they had to make this S, they had to use a little bit darker brick. So what if that actually shows through?
So we have these two initials now on our house.
Right. I think they're the Masons initials, or there's they thought it was funny. Maybe if they had done like our last name initial or something, still, that was not a design choice. I did not ask for two initials to be put in a brick pattern on my house.
Super bold.
Isn't it?
No,
it's like graffiti.
It
to
is
me.
like graffiti. It's not your house. And there's been so much detail and time that has been put into this. You guys are not the one, not to throw this back at it, but you're not paying for this.
No. So this was definitely my low, a wacky low. Then dad also made sure he said something to the builders. And I was pleased to hear that it wasn't just us. They were shocked as well. Like, this is strange. Like, this isn't your house to take the liberty to do that. And I think they're going to talk to the mason, and the mason is going to replace some of the bricks, which that seems also kind of difficult that you're chiseling out bricks and replacing it. But what a strange, we have not had any problems with our builders.
Nope.
Nothing. And this is so obtuse.
And again, when dad first mentioned it, you were like, what are you talking about? Like,
right. Who is the S? What's the L? What's going on?
Yes. And, like somebody mentioned, if you do paint over it, there is, because the pattern was not really, it didn't matter. Just get the bricks up and then it'll be lime washed. But like you said, what if you had decided, you know what, I'm going to keep the brick.
Right.
And it's more just the principle of it.
Yes. Also, is this an efficient use of time that we are taking the time to make a pattern of an initial?
But again, if you were going to do an initial, why wouldn't you do our family's initial?
I don't know.
And
no
also,
one wanted initials.
Nobody.
It's not a monogrammed house. I did not. I mean, if we were going to do it, I would like a very beautiful script with interlocking initials.
Right.
Now we're talking. Yeah. Now that would have been clever. But to have these two initials that
for people that we don't know, that will never be back at the house,
and I can't unsee it.
No,
I cannot
of course
unsee
not.
it.
And everyone on the team who was involved is so detail oriented that once they found out about this, I think that everyone was very embarrassed and horrified and felt bad. And they said that this would be fixed immediately, and
I think they were surprised that anyone noticed it. And the fact that dad noticed it first just shows you it's really obvious.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
So
we had friends walking through and we explained this to them and they're like, whoa, wait, what? And then we show it to them. See, there's an S and an L, and they can't believe it either.
Yeah, and then we had our aunt and uncle and my cousin, because she's home from college, they went through it yesterday, and we had to explain the whole thing again to them. And it's just, you just really cannot anticipate these things.
No, never thought that would be an issue.
So we're going to keep you updated on it being fixed and if you can see it. Mm-hmm. But I figured the podcast listeners would really get a kick out of this.
I thought that they would.
This is a little home building, saga, a little drama this week. There's just why?
So everyone make good choices. Think through what you're doing.
This isn't Mark and Graham. No. We are not in the business of personalizing homes.
No. So that was my low. And then my bow was definitely our Charlotte pop-up shop, as well as Mother's Day.
Oh, yes. We just had a huge week.
I just had a lovely day yesterday.
Good.
It was really nice. So those two things, which we'll probably talk about more in depth, those were definitely my bow.
Well, why don't we start with Mother's Day? Yesterday, we went to a lovely brunch downtown at the Union Club in Cleveland, which, for context, is where Claire got married. And, you know, here at the home front, we love a good tradition. So we have been going to the same brunch down there with Grammy and Papa every single year since I can remember. And they really just do a wonderful spread. You get a corsage when you walk in.
In fact,
Oh, yes.
the woman that gave me my corsage when we came in is a podcast
She's a podcast listener. It was really sweet.
It was so sweet. She's like, "Hi, Emily, I'm a podcast listener."
And I was like, oh my gosh, no way. Happy Mother's Day. So
Yes.
it was so lovely. And yeah, I just always like, it's such a, I think I wrote it in my card to you. I was like, I always just love this day because it's so springy and just civilized and lovely.
It was lovely. There were so many little like babies and little kids all dressed up.
You wore just a beautiful suit. Shocker, Anne was in a suit.
My favorite.
Your fave. I mean, all is right in the world when you put on a pantsuit for any type of celebration. It's just immediately we feel at ease and comfort. You had a hot pink suit that actually you probably knew that you had, but we're kind of reacquainted with when we did our spring cleaning.
Yes.
And you actually got it last year from Jay McLaughlin, and you had never worn it before. And this was just the perfect opportunity. The thing is you have so many fabulous suits that, you know, you have to have a time and a place for it to shine correctly.
And it has to be the right weather. Like it can't be too cold. And it's hot pink. It's really cute. It's double-breasted and then kind of a wide pant. They don't have it anymore, but it was new to me. I hadn't worn it yet, and it was really pretty.
It was lovely.
I love hot pink.
It was a great color on you. One of your many colors.
Thanks.
And then I wore a Kate Unger dress that they gifted me
So
a couple months
you.
ago, and I was saving it for Mother's Day because it's Mother's Day in a dress.
Yeah,
And,
lovely. It's floral.
Yeah, it's was really pretty, and then just like a high heel. Claire had on, was that a Navarra dress?
Yes, she looked so pretty too. And your dress kind of had lavender
It did.
in it, and you two coordinated nicely. And hers was really pretty lavender dress.
I love that shape on her. And her Celine purse that she got for her birthday, like really perfectly matched it. And Joyce was looking ravishing. She had a little sweater set on. So it was just such a beautiful morning. We had mimosas, and then after that, then we went through the house with our aunt and uncle, which was really nice because it was just a sunny day. We really took our time. And wait, there was something else I was going to say about Mother's Day that I have forgotten. I forget. Oh, Elizabeth. People are like, where is Elizabeth? Guys, she's still at school.
She's still at school. Miami has that 6 weeks J term in December, January. And as a result, they go a little bit later in May.
Yes.
So she's coming home on Friday.
She's coming home on Friday. Last year, she was home at this time because the winter term was only 5 weeks. But unfortunately, she was not home yet. So that's why she wasn't on Mother's Day.
Too bad.
But I posted a reel yesterday with the four of us, and people were like, why isn't your sister in this? And then I had to edit the comment, and I was like, just to let everyone know, my sister is still finishing up her semester. Like, we're heading into finals week.
And even as we were doing it, we're like, oh,
I know.
Elizabeth.
I know.
But she'll be home. She has finals this week.
Yeah. So Bitsy has finals, and then she'll be home on Friday. But let's back it up to Charlotte. So Thursday, we flew to Charlotte after we had just a big, first of all, the orders, because we haven't talked to them since we shared all the products. That was pre-launch when we recorded. We launched on Tuesday, and we have had, first of all, let's just hold hands for a minute.
Okay,
we have had such an amazing launch week. Haven't we? Like, you're so weird.
No, I love it.
We just wanted to say thank you so much. So we had so many orders flooding in the first day, which is so thrilling to see names pop up and the states that we are shipping them to. And then they just kept rolling in Tuesday into Wednesday.
Really exciting. We were texting Laura. The three of us were in a little group texting and giving her updates throughout Tuesday.
Yes.
And now we're at this many orders. And it's been great, and they just keep rolling in.
And Laura came over on Wednesday for her Wednesday work day, and then she was helping package, and she was like, this is like our store that we have. And she was like so blown away as well with the orders. So, and then we packed up for the trunk show Thursday morning. We left for Charlotte, and we had a really easy flight. Claire came with us to just have another set of hands because, you know, it is you need support. And I was just really, I think I said this to you about when we got home because I didn't want to jinx it, but everything really lined up perfectly.
It did.
It was impressive.
It's nice when you're traveling and, we landed and then we were meeting my really good friend, Katie, from high school and college. And we had like that lined up perfectly. She picked a really fun French restaurant. What was it called?
Oh, I forget.
Les Helene, something or other.
It was Uptown Charlotte.
Yes. We stayed at the Ivy's Hotel, which I thought was nice. It's a little quirky, but I thought it was nice. We were just there one night and then we were able to just walk. It was like a 5-minute walk to this beautiful French restaurant. We had a lovely lunch together.
Little chicken salad, little iced tea. And then we went back and got ready and then Ubered to the pop-up and set up. The whole Laura Park team was so lovely. The area was really pretty. The store was gorgeous. And then the ladies, go ahead.
Well, and Laura Park, Catherine is the one that we worked with there who greeted us and everything. And Laura Park Design, she is an artist, I think, by trade. Started off as an artist and is a designer. And she has these beautiful prints that are on all sorts of housewares. Bedding, you can get dorm bedding.
Yes.
Paper plates, napkins. It's a really pretty store.
Gorgeous store. I mean, it would be so great to have something like that in Cleveland, just to have that. And they do, did you say this? They do a lot of dorm bedding in the South. I think they sell like kind of like a kit that you can get. So she was telling us about that. And then they had a really just like lovely little bar cart set up with some macarons and some Prosecco, which was great for the guests. And right at 5 o'clock, our ladies started showing up for the trunk show. Such a prompt group of gals.
They one after another, and we were blown away.
No, guys, we were blown away.
Because I think the first person that walked in was from an hour away. And then someone else came in and she said she was from Tennessee. And I'm like, oh, wow. Again, I feel like we need to like check a map. You said that, Emily.
I need a little like
geography.
I mean, I know where everything is, but so when you say it, like it's not.
She drove 3.5 hours.
It was 3.5 hours because I was like, yeah, I know where Tennessee is, but in relation to where I am right now, like how far is that by drive?
No, I'm with you. She drove 3.5 hours. We find out at the end of our visit with her, she was so sweet. She left her boyfriend in the car. I'm like, you could bring him in. She said, no, he's fine. He's on his phone. But another person drove with her boyfriend from Raleigh. Which I think was 2 hours maybe. She announces at the end, oh yeah, my boyfriend's also in the car. Okay, well those two could have maybe met. I don't know.
Right. I was happy that they had come with someone though.
Same,
on their journey.
When they're leaving, not only are we saying, my gosh, what a pleasure to meet you. You're so like, this is so wonderful, but please drive safely.
Right.
No, I was happy they had someone else with them.
I mean, the 3.5 and 2.5 hours, and they both were like, well, I just didn't know if I would get another opportunity to see you and be this close to you. And I mean, it's just once you realize like how far that is, I don't even know what to say.
We're honored.
I'm honored, speechless, touched. I mean, it's just
we're like, please have a lemon bar. Please, a glass of Prosecco.
For you a tiny little cookie because
they were. I mean, and a couple of them were dressed like in all white, or they had on like light blue to match the line.
Everyone's outfits I wanted. Everything that everyone had on. I think I kept asking him like, where's that from? Where's this from? I mean,
really cute earrings I was seeing. Everybody
a lot of light
really
blue.
Pretty.
Grace, one of the girls, Gracie, who was home from college, she brought her grandma, which was so lovely.
She had an adorable romper on.
So cute.
Not the grandma, but
Gracie. Is it Gracie or Grace?
I think it's Grace.
Grace, yeah.
Unless you want to have a nickname for
She's
her.
Gracie to me because we're already super close.
So she was so really cute. Can I tell when she walked in?
Yes.
She brought her grandma and she's hugging us. And we had actually DM'd. We didn't know it was her till she introduced herself. But she has DM'd us a couple of times because she goes to UGA and she's had great ideas to come. They do like vendors on the lawn for their parents' weekend, which she has thought of us before and said, we've tried to make it work. Like it would be a great opportunity for a trunk show. So she's introducing herself to us and we give her a hug and we're like, well, we're so happy you're here. It's just so nice to meet you. And her grandma was really sweet. And her grandma said, Grace, I thought you said we were coming to visit your friends. You don't even know these people. So we were laughing and backing up. And she had, to make things simple, I think she had just said to her grandma, they went out to lunch and they were shopping. Yeah. And I think she was just saying, and then we're going to go stop by and see some of my friends, which was just made it simpler. Well, by the end, Grace's grandma, what was she saying to you?
Oh my gosh. Well, since we're in the South, a lot of and I know you're all going to listen to this and be like, yes, Emily, they have Southern accents, but we are from Ohio. I don't catch that a lot. So a lot of these ladies had fabulous Southern accents. You guys are so chic. And the grandma was like, well, I just wish we all could be neighbors and live on the same street together. And then she was like, Grace is going to get me all set up in the car so I can follow you. And I was like, and see, now we're all friends.
Yes, exactly. So she's like, I get it.
She's like, yeah, great. we are friends. And
it was so cute.
Like you said, I had been messaging Grace back and forth in the fall and for other things, but just had never obviously met her and put the face to a name. So
grandma was so cute.
We were taking pictures together. Mm-hmm. She was so wonderful, and I'm so happy she came. And what a cute, fun day that they had together. I mean, we would do that with Joyce, of course.
Right. And what a nice little bond. Now she can know what Grace is talking about and try and listen to the podcasts and go on Instagram. And
yes. But honestly, like, I know when people are like, oh, I thought you were meeting your friends. I mean, some of those girls, some of the women who came had come to our event that we had hosted last year in Charlotte at Veronica Beard. So this is the second time you create relationships with people who you follow and online in the community. So it really is a network of friends.
Yes,
it is.
There was one woman that couldn't come, Talbot, I think her name is.
Her name was Talbot.
Last year, you connected two girls that came to the Veronica Beard event, were standing around talking, and you connected them, and they have become friends.
Yes. And then she was DMing me, and then I think her name's Lauren. She came, but then Lauren. She couldn't have, and then she was like, well, Talbot wished, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, you two have kept in touch. Like, that is really what is just so, again, they're friends. So, like, really, we all are
it's such a great community. And Lauren is moving to New York, and she's originally from Connecticut.
Yes.
So we said, well, please come see us if we do another trunk show or some event in New York.
Yeah. Well, and it's sweet because when everyone leaves, everyone's kind of like, well, I'm sure we'll all see each other again somehow. Another bit that I just wanted to highlight, and I think I've said this before, maybe on the podcast, but it's always so impressed by the group of women who come out to these events because you all are so accomplished and so smart, so put together. Grace was the sorority or the president of her sorority. And I said to her, I'm getting leadership vibes from you. You're giving leadership, just so, such kind girls. And it makes us feel so great that we are able to know people in this life, in this world, who are so sweet.
They're
and kind.
Smart.
Yeah. So
intelligent women, great jobs.
Yep.
And it was just one after another, was such a treat to talk to all of them.
Such a treat. And
even Catherine, who was at Laura Park, kept thinking, she's like, these are such lovely people that have come in.
Yeah. She was lovely too. Loved her.
I know. We liked everyone. We were sharing, Claire and Catherine were sharing wedding pictures by the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they both been married about the same amount of time, which was really fun. And I don't know, it was really a nice, and then we went back to the hotel and we had a celebratory Hugo Spritz and a little dinner.
That's like our thing after a trunk show is we get the Hugo Spritzes. It's like it's kind of like a work group thing. It's kind of like my coworkers and I get this like signature drink. Yes. And then, and then we just, went to bed super early, got up the next day, and our flight was at like 11. So again, no delays, hopped on the flight, and we were home by like 1:30. Connor picked us up. And then we really had a full day after that, kept packaging. And it was Friday. I love coming back on a Friday.
I agree.
Went out to dinner with my boyfriend, met up with one of my girlfriends, had a great night, and then just rolled into the rest of the weekend. So, I mean, it was just overall such a great trunk show, successful pop-up, and always a pleasure to be in Charlotte.
Always a pleasure. I'm just thinking about the line and different things that we're packaging.
Yeah, what were the top sellers? I mean, I know.
The hydrangea needlepoint kit is just doing great. The mugs, we're almost sold out of the mugs.
That's so fun.
Yes, the totes are doing well.
I took my topiary canvas tote as my like my travel bag, and it's so nice.
Oh, it's nice. You got a bunch of little compliments on them.
I did. I tied the hydrangea twilly, and what I love about it is that front pocket, because as you're running through whatever, you can just have your phone right there, so it's not getting lost and everything.
So we are just hoping the orders keep coming in. Thank you to everyone who's already ordered some things.
Yes. No, we really just cannot thank you enough. And so funny because when we left for Charlotte, that's when we had like you and Laura were packaging. So we had like a massive amount of boxes. And Terry was so sweet. And after
So
he dropped
sweet.
us off at the airport, he took the main bulk of them to the UPS store. Or did he go to the post office?
He went to the post office. So
Okay. So I haven't actually stepped foot in the UPS store in a little bit because I've been going to the post office. But I think they would maybe have a field day if I showed up with all those
they
packages.
would. Right.
Yeah.
There was too many to show up there.
There was too many to show up there. We've been going, taking the extra minute or two and going to the post office.
That was so nice of Dad because
It was
that
so
was
sweet.
a lot.
No, it was so nice. He called us and he was like, "Oh, ladies, I took all the packages and double checked them." So that's what I'm saying. This is a group effort. Like everyone, it's
Right.
really like just all hands on deck because it can't just happen with one person. It's a family effort, which is I feel so lucky to have all that support.
Yeah, it was nice of him.
So get ready, Elizabeth, when you come home. No, I'm kidding.
We have a list of things for you to do.
Totally kidding.
What do you have going on the rest of this week?
Well, I feel like tonight, I guess I have a little bit going on. Tonight I'm going to a playoff game for the Cavs with my boyfriend and his family. And then I think it's his dad's side of the family is coming, who I haven't met yet. So this is going to be a really fun opportunity to
be
meet
so
them.
fun.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's this evening. We were kind of figuring out what I was going to wear. You know, it's always kind of sporting events. You want to look put together, but still, you know, themed.
Well, we were even thinking like your Veronica Beard blazer over a Cavs shirt and just denim.
I think that's such a cool look. You do that a lot for
Yes,
sporting events.
I think that's a good idea.
I think that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I have tonight. And I texted my friend Peyton and I said, my Lord, we need to get back into Pilates. Like we've kind of had a week or two off just with schedules and stuff. She's had a bunch of stuff. I was, in Charlotte, whatever. I'm gone for one day and I can't do Pilates for 2 weeks.
Exercise does not happen.
So I said, we have to do a couple classes this week. So I think I'm going to do that. Thursday, I'm going out to dinner, actually, again, with my boyfriend and his parents, because you have met his mom several times and have just known her over the years, but we're getting the parents together and my boyfriend and I are all going to dinner on Thursday. Friday, Elizabeth comes home. My Lord, we have a lot. Oh, and then Saturday is my boyfriend and I's 6-month anniversary.
I think that our next podcast in the next week or two should be a little bit about how you two met.
Yes.
And kind of the origin story of your relationship.
We will be having a dedicated post about
because it
my
is
relationship.
exciting.
It is exciting. I did not have the what's the word? The mental stamina right now to talk about it because I want to write some notes down and kind of have a little bit more of an organized timeline, to collect my words and my thoughts.
But I think that should be in the next few weeks because it's the kind of thing, and we can tell the podcast listeners, they understand. Now that you've dated for 6 months, it's serious. But in the beginning, you don't want to share too much. I feel like you're at a good point that it's serious enough that, and you could introduce everyone.
Absolutely. It's a fine line between not too early, not too late, keeping some things to yourself, waiting to share. I mean, eventually with all things in time, you want to share, but you don't want to share too much. This is still, just something that is special and can be private or not. Who knows? There's no rule book, ladies.
No. But I do think that after 6 months, I feel like you could share how you met.
Absolutely. Yes.
Not that and none of it is earth shattering, but it's just a fun story.
No, we will be having a dedicated podcast to that, kind of in honor of the 6 months. I think that would be
I think that's a great idea.
So,
and maybe I'll interview you.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah.
So I'll get some questions.
Love to be interviewed, guys. I love to be interviewed.
So I'll get some questions together and we'll work on that.
And we'll do that. So keep your eyes and ears ready for that.
And we are going on vacation.
We are. On Sunday.
And so we need to start getting some clothes together, and that's going to be fun.
I feel in good shape about my outfits for this upcoming trip because I've kind of worked backwards on that. Elizabeth will have a quick turnaround. I hope that she feels that she has the clothes. Maybe you and her will go shopping maybe before the trip.
I feel like she's in good shape, but I do feel like she's in good shape.
So we're going on a very fun trip. So be sure to follow along on socials for that. And I mean, then I feel like when we get back, do we have another week and then it's Memorial Day, or is it Memorial Day when we get back?
No, we get back and then it's Memorial Day. We're not gone for very long.
No, not
but
at
it'll
all.
be fun. But then, yes. In fact, I made sure over the weekend we were at our lake house, and I was, of course, looking at the calendar and planning ahead. And I got the porch ready.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yes. And I feel like other homeowners feel this way with spring. That's why I was getting like windows washed, all of that kind of stuff. there's just a lot of prep work because now, you have the yard to make sure it looks good. I still need to do the window boxes at our house here. Mm-hmm. And I always think of it when I'm backing out and pulling in.
Yeah.
And I should write it down right now because I need to. And my neighbor did hers and they look so pretty.
Oh my God, they look bountiful.
They're so pretty. So she did hers, but I need to do that. But I did get the porch ready so that when we go there, I just have to put some of the pillows and cushions. And then Dad did an unveiling, all the outdoor furniture has covers on it. So he took those off and moved the planters around.
It is a thrilling day when the porch is open. I feel like but when we get back from our trip, it'll be Memorial Day. And to me, it's like it's summer.
Right.
So,
and I'm looking forward to that. I think we've got a couple of good fun weeks here. Our book.
Oh my gosh.
We worked on it a little bit this morning.
We did. We had a book meeting with our graphic designer and then you were on the phone with the book editor and things are moving really well along.
Yes. So we're hoping to get that all kind of turned in. Feels like a big school assignment.
It does.
With all the little pieces and parts. But we were working on the book flaps, what's going to go on that. And it's really a fun process. Don't you think so?
Fascinating process. We're learning so much. And it is so interesting. And everyone that we're working with is a lovely, lovely woman, gal, and smart. Mm-hmm. And you really have just done a lot, Anne, the past couple weeks.
Thanks, Em.
You have. Obviously, we did this years ago, but you're the one pushing it through and getting it done. And it's very fun. Abby, who I just said the graphic designer, was here this morning, and it was a great way to kick off our Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm not gonna lie, this morning I felt like I'd been hit by a bus, but I was happy to see her.
She's just delightful, and she's creative, and she's following through and getting everything done.
Very much so.
But little things, like I was talking to the editor, and she said the end pages. So when you open the cover of a book, sometimes you can put a pattern in there, and she said that's included. Like you could leave it white if you wanted to, but we think we're going to do maybe a linen looking image on the front cover.
I think so. Mm-hmm. So you're just making kind of like last minute, sorry, the train's going, suburb life. We have some not last minute decisions, but finalizing some decisions, and then it'll be sent to print. When did she say?
She's hoping that this can all get wrapped up by like the first week of June.
Wow.
But she's going to edit it, which is great. We need a bunch of eyes on it. She's going to edit it, and then she has a woman that works for her, so she'll also do a read through.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have my mom look at it again, and maybe Dad.
For sure.
And I'm going to look at it. I might see if Claire could do it.
She's always good at editing.
It's just like any school project or whatever. Or whatever you're writing, when you keep looking at it, it seems like it's fine. And I'm certain there'll be like a little mistake here and there, but I would like to prevent it.
Absolutely. I think that is a great plan. So we've been working on that. And then you have a house call today. Yes. God, it's today. It's bright outside.
Yes, I have a house call. And what did you think about the house when you went over?
Oh my gosh. It's just so exciting. I just want it to be done immediately. I mean, it's just so beautiful and so well done. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait for it.
Yes, they're working on a lot of the trim, which is just gorgeous that they're doing. And
a lot of pretty arches throughout the home.
There better not be any internal initials put on anything.
Well, you never know. I feel like we need to sweep the home now for any more S&Ls.
No more initials anywhere. But it looks, and I think I said it last time, now when we go over everything, there's just progress every single day. And it's enjoyable stuff for me. It's not the behind the scenes, important stuff like the plumbing and whatever, but it's really coming along well. They're building the walls on the side.
Yes, they just brought in those new huge rocks that are kind of being built up on the side. So it just feels like such an oasis, and it's not even done yet. So I can't even imagine what it'll be like when it's done.
No, it's coming along, and I'm really pleased with it.
You should be. Mm-hmm. Much to be proud of, Anne. I'm going to go take some more packages that you ordered packaged up to the UPS store and edit this podcast, get this up, get a new vlog up for the week, and just, run the business.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm super excited about tonight. So thank you all for listening. I feel like that's kind of what we have to share. Bitsy will be home, so we're excited to have her on the podcast. We're excited to kind of talk a little bit more about my relationship. If there's anything else that you want us to touch upon, we're heading into the summer, so we might be recording more up at our lake house, which is always fun.
Right.
Our summer location and our summer hours. But we hope you're all doing well during the month of May, a very busy time. And until next week, we will talk to you all later. And remember that everything is in fact better with a bow. Bye-bye now.